One of the things that we have heard over and over and over, especially this term, is this idea of a two-tier justice system. We have heard that term used, I don't know how many times. Would you agree with me that there is some form of ethics that is in place for our lower courts that somehow is absent from our high court?
That is correct.
In the case of what has been laid out by so many of my colleagues as it relates to potential conflicts because your wife is potentially one of the perpetrators of January 6th or one of the planners of January 6th. And also, obviously, we've dealt with the upside down flags that are a sign of solidarity with those same January 6th defendants. What type of recourse do we have when there is a conflict that exists? And when I say conflict, I just want to be very real about this. There are people that have never been anywhere near a law school that are saying even a blind man can see there's an obvious conflict. But what is the recourse on the Supreme Court? Is there a recourse on the Supreme Court when a justice decides that they are not going to recuse themselves from what seems to be a very obvious conflict?
At the moment, there is not.
Okay. So I agree that there may be some sort of a two-tier justice system that is playing out in our country. But it seems like the two-tier justice system is inuring to the benefit of the highest court in the land, from what I can ascertain. Obviously, we're not doing this in a full committee hearing because the people that are running the madhouse right now are not here for it. But we are, because we believe in law and order and overall rule of law. And so when we talk about things such as expanding the court, is there a history in this country of expanding the Supreme Court?
There is. It has been done by Congress.
It has been done by Congress at least 7 different times. And the last time was in 1869. Now, I know that this isn't necessarily your area of expertise, but would you agree with me that this country has grown just a little bit since 1869?
The population has considerably increased, yes.
Okay. So
we can agree on that.
It may make sense to do that. In addition to that, as someone who's practiced in state court and federal court, term limits exist in some form in a number of state court systems, but we don't have it on the federal level. Can you explain to us how potentially imposing term limits on the Supreme Court could allow for hopefully some of the harm that we see coming through the court, some of the terrible influence to hopefully finally make its way out of the court?
The court is not driven by the random fact of who the president is at a time when a vacancy emerges. And it would take away, or maybe not entirely take away, but make far less creditable the effort that was done to stop Merrick Garland and install Justice Gorsuch in his place. They claim to be completely apolitical, but they seem to try to clear out in the presidency of their own party. So,
absolutely. Thank you so much.